Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today from Super7, we are featuring Heisei Godzilla 1989. So this is Super7's take on the 1989 incarnation of Godzilla. It's a pretty large action figure. If I had to guess the height, I think it's between 7 and 8 inches tall. On the back, we have Heisei Godzilla. This is actually now this action figure is actually made to accompany Super7's Biollante action figure, which is also in their lineup. And on the description, the Godzilla Heisei era lasted from 1984 to 1995. This era was also nicknamed the Verse series in Japan due to the word verse being featured in most of the film's titles. The Heisei era of Godzilla films follow a different continuity from the Showa films, ignoring every movie except the original 1954 Godzilla. These films all take place in a single timeline, featuring a technologically advanced humanity combating Godzilla and other giant monsters. Alright, so let's get started and get this guy out. But like I said, this action figure is made to accompany the Super7 Biollante action figure. And we'll go into that a little bit after I take this action figure out. Okay, so first impressions of this action figure. It's really stunning. It's awesome. It has a nice weight to it. As you can see, you get multiple accessories. Godzilla 89 comes with additional hands over here. It comes with this piece, which is for his neck. So, as I stated earlier, this action figure is made to accompany the Super7 Biollante action figure. And this is kind of like when Godzilla is kind of ensnared, and you put this around his neck. So that's what this accessory is for. In addition to the face that comes stock with the figure, you have an alternate portrait. So you could go either with the open mouth or the gritted teeth. He features the one battle-damaged hand, which kind of has the pierced hole running through the palm, and then additional fist right there. And the figure does require some assembly, as the tail is a separate piece. And let's assemble the Godzilla figure right now. Alright, so as I stated previously, I think this thing kind of falls maybe between 7 and 8 inches tall. Let's grab a ruler. Yeah, about right. It's about 8 inches tall. With the tail, I'm guessing, you're probably looking at something that's probably close to a foot. The tail is articulated. As you can see, it's segmented in different parts. And then each segment kind of is on its own joint. So there's some rotation. It's flexible, but it's not like a bendy tail. Each part, I believe, is kind of its own ball joint. And then you attach it to the back here. I was reading some reviews on this action figure, and some people are having difficulty, connecting the tail. What I would suggest is, I already did this previously, is you want to heat the tail up in like hot water, and it'll soften up the plastic, and then you can easily insert it. And then it'll go on. And the tail is kind of heavy, so it's not necessarily going to hold all the poses you'd like. As you can see, once you get it on, it kind of droops due to its weight. Keep in mind, this is a pretty large action figure, and there's a lot of girth and weight to Godzilla's body and frame. And it's a fantastic looking piece. Let's examine the details up close. As you can see, the sculpting is just really superb. Let's get his head into focus. Yes, the detail on the head is just amazing. You know, this really embodies 89 Godzilla. Nice texturing and layering on his skin. You know, it's a pretty even sculpt all around. You know, there aren't any areas that are too muddy. Some areas like the chest and the abdomen are, you know, the sculpting's a little bit more sharper and crisp as opposed to like on the back, but I think that's all right. The fins are nice. They could be a little bit more pointier in my opinion, but at the same time, you know, at that point it becomes kind of like a health risk because you don't actually like jab your fingers or your eye. Yeah, that head is just awesome. It's a nice weighted figure. For a size comparison, just to give you an idea of the size of it, here's a Marvel Legends action figure. Here's a McFarlane figure. Here's one of the Super 7 reaction figures. Here's a Godzilla. You know, so it's a nice, large, meaty action figure. In terms of the articulation, Godzilla's head swivels up here, and then you can kind of look down. Doesn't really look up. And then you have additional articulation in the neck towards the pit and the shoulders, which allows it to swivel. And there's some upward and downward motion. The arms rotate. They go outward. They do feature a bicep swivel. Elbow bend, it's only single pinned and it's hidden, so it's a cleaner look, and articulated wrists. One thing to keep in mind with this action figure is that if you get this new, some of the joints might be super tight and you don't want to force it. So much like the tail, I'd suggest submerging the figure in hot water. What that does, it'll soften up the plastic, and then it'll allow you to, you know, be able to move the pieces without fear of like snapping a joint or breaking it. It does feature articulation at the waist, so you could turn. The only downside to that is that once you turn, it kind of breaks the illusion of it, the spins along his spine. It kind of you know, breaks up that straight line going downward. His legs are articulated, as are his knees. So even though it's an articulated figure, keep in mind that this character isn't necessarily like Spider-Man. You know, you're not going to get him in a whole lot of dynamic poses. Because, you know, this is Godzilla. It's not like he's a gymnast or anything like that. But it's a very impressive action figure. If you're a fan of Godzilla, this is one of the more premium action figures that are out there. You know, there's varying degrees of, like, Godzilla action figures. You know, there's some that are kind of basic, like the Bandai movie monsters, where those are soft PVC action figures. Generally around 6 inches tall. And very limited articulation. You know, for those, you're probably looking at 4 points of articulation. You know, this one has a crap load of articulation, but at the same time, you're paying a premium price for it. And I think it's well worth it. You know, it's very sizable. It's something they could display, and it's like, you know, really draw people's attention to. It's awesome. It's a great looking piece. If you're a fan of 89 Godzilla, you know, I'd suggest seeking this thing out. It's much larger than the SH Monster Arts figures. And I don't know, I just think it's a really cool piece. I'm very fond of 89 Godzilla because it's not super stylized. For me, it's kind of like the Godzilla I see in my head. You know, it's a very evergreen design. It's not necessarily super outrageous like Godzilla Earth or Shin Godzilla. Alright, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.